Welcome back, everyone, to Bearcats Daily. I am your host, Blake Thornton. Thank you for joining me on this Monday. Hey, big weekend for UC in terms of recruiting. Both basketball and football really starting to get some guys, get some names in the building, and get some commits for the class of 2027. So, starting us off, a little basketball news for you. They did have their first team meeting with Coach Calhoun today. Now, obviously, they've had meetings with coaches and players, things like that. But we got guys in the building as a team for an actual team meeting today. So we're already rolling into the basketball season there. Good to see the guys getting in the building. Hopefully it was a good meeting that got them excited for this upcoming season. Now, there is some big news for them in terms of recruiting. Class of 2027 recruit. He is a two-way guard, a four-star point guard. Jaylon Lyons is currently expanding his recruiting tour as he moves around going to campus visits, which do include UC. He's got about 12 to 13 campuses he is visiting. Like I say, he's a four-star recruit. He has he has not committed anywhere, but he is going around and doing official visits at least 10 to 12 campuses, with UC being one of them. He is from Clinton, Maryland. ESPN does have him ranked as the number one in the state. 24/7 Sports has him as number 2 in state, but either way, 1 or 2 pretty much does the job, no questions asked. Number 6 in the region, according to ESPN, and number 15 at the point guard position going forward for him. He is about 6'3", 170 pounds, so a tall, lengthy guard. He's currently 44th in the Sports Center Next 100 total recruits for that class, so really a big name. A big name, solid player. He currently does have offers on the table from Maryland, Florida State, VCU, and many others. He will be visiting these schools along with others that I have not mentioned, obviously. So it will be interesting to see what kind of happens with him. Obviously, you want to get big names in the building, which Coach Calhoun has done for the Bearcats basketball team already, landing major recruits both in-state and out of state, working the transfer portal. I really think once we get him on campus, it'll be very hard to have him say no to joining the Bearcats for that next season. Some things with this guy that I've really liked that I've seen watching what film is out there of him. He's in high school, so it's hard to find sometimes. But his court vision is excellent. He knows where guys are out on the court, and he doesn't stare down where he's going with the basketball. So he knows his offense, knows where his guys are at all times. Makes plays happen. For a point guard, that is impeccable that you have great court vision to be able to move the ball where it needs to be to continue the offense. His passing, obviously going with that court vision, he gets crisp on-time passes, gets the ball where it needs to be, doesn't create a lot of turnovers. Even better than passing, he's a 3-level scorer. What does that mean? Well, he can make shots at the rim, he can make shots, inside the key, inside the arc, and then obviously he's a good three-point shooter. But his defense is just a solid defender, full court defender. He's a two-way player. Vital for the terms of UC basketball and how they play, which historically, strong defensively with some good offense. He does both just as strong. Really an asset and a weapon that I hope we can get him into town. Look for him to make an impact starting out as a freshman. Here at UC, especially coming into class 2027 for next year, I would expect him to be a starting true freshman. And I think he could do wonders with that. So if we can get him in the building, that'll be the first step into locking him down. I really think Cincinnati does well on recruit visits. And we're going to see with our football guys we're going to talk about here in a second. Once guys get on campus, very few of them leave without taking the offer. UC is very good about that, and I'm hoping that streak continues here with this gentleman moving forward. Now, we're going to kind of rotate into our football talk because we do have a couple recruits that have committed to UC. One of them did commit this weekend, right after his visit. It is a cornerback. He is out of Louisiana, 200 pounds, 6'4" cornerback, Kyron Turner. He announced his commitment Sunday to the University of Cincinnati after his weekend visit down to campus. 3-star recruit. He did have offers from UCLA, Tulsa, Houston, and many others, but he will be the first cornerback commitment for UC for the class of 2027. So we're starting to see the defense come into play a lot in the secondary in terms of recruiting. They haven't had one yet. This is a good start. Now, I mentioned he's 6'4". That's pretty big for a safety. That's very, very tall. In terms of length, and what you really are hoping for is speed. But the good news is the kid has great agility for his size. His speed can keep up with any receiver, and with him being so tall, his passes deflected are excellent. He goes up, he can high point any football with a receiver, but even better, that speed keeps up with him. So that is going to play huge dividends for UC. However, he has played the nickel, and with his size, he has rushed the quarterback. There is film of him doing this and successfully. So I think he was recruited by Adam Braithwaite. Oh, I hope I pronounced that right. He's our cat coach. It's a hybrid linebacker cornerback position that is typically played in 3-4 defenses. With his size and speed, I think they're going to play him out of that nickel linebacker position and really get after the quarterback with him. That extra speed off the edge coming down is going to put a lot more pressure on not just the offensive line, but the quarterback to make his reads and get that ball out quick, which only benefits our defense. The less time our defenders have to cover, the easier it is on them for them to do their job. I really like the fact that the coach that recruited him is who will be coaching him. And by that, I mean a hybrid position player that is going to be coached by someone who specializes in that. It's not like this is just a linebacker coach or just he's a cat position coach. He's going to get him into the best situations possible for his skill set. It'll be interesting to see how that works with our defense because remember, Nate Woody coming in, this 3-4 defense is going to change a lot in terms of how he's going to line guys up. So it'll be really, really interesting to see how he fits in when he comes in and starts playing. Obviously, we're going to get a year under our belt with Nate Woody before we see him come in. He's class 2027. So we'll just have to give that time to develop. I hope his scheme plays well this year for them. Our defense really needs to step up because who knows what our offense is going to be. We've got so many new position players at key points on the offense that who knows how that's going to turn out to be. So a big thing to keep an eye on there for sure this season. But even better than that, our receiving room is just becoming unstoppable. We picked up our second recruit coming in. He's a 4-star recruit from East St. Louis, 5'10", 185 pounds. Ronnie Gomiller committed to UC over the weekend. He had offers from Kansas State, Michigan State, Utah, Indiana, and many others on the table. And UC managed to lock him down and make quite the impression on the young man to get him in the building. ESPN has him ranked 31st nationally at that position, 21st in the region, and 10th in the state. Now, obviously, St. Louis, Missouri, pretty big state. Some good football players do come out of that state. There's no doubt about it. Getting guys like this in the building only help get more recruits down the road. If you can take these guys who, now granted, 4-star receiver, already he's talented. We know he's going to be a star. You want to keep him in Cincinnati now. We've got to coach him up, get that relationship solid because with the way the NIL works and transfer portal, these guys can just go wherever they want. So it's vital to keep guys like this on the team, their full career, build them up, and make him an NFL draft pick, which I have no doubt that he will be. Obviously, he's not the tallest receiver. 5'10" is kind of undersized for most receivers. But he does play both out on the edge and in the slot, and looks comfortable playing both. I haven't seen anything to where I would question, well, maybe he'll just play out of the slot or just play out at the numbers or on the edge. He's able to do all of them. But even better is he's a punt returner. In 2025, now obviously this was his junior year, he had 367 punt return yards in just 8 attempts. Got blazing speed. So if he isn't, obviously with our depth at wide receiver, if he doesn't start every single game at wide receiver, he's still going to make an impact on the field, whether kick returns or punt returns. And that'll allow him to get a little up to speed with the college game. Big 12 football is a big shift from high school football, obviously. College in general is, but you're playing in a Power 4 conference. It's going to be a little faster. Guys are going to be a little stronger. But even though he's undersized, he still plays through contact. Now, it's very hard to tackle him in open field, obviously. With his speed and agility, open field tackles, he makes defenders miss 60% of the time. So getting him the ball in space and letting him go to work on defenders is going to be a key asset to being successful with him on offense. If they try to just match him up and have him go and try to out-jump guys, that's not going to happen. We got to get him the ball and let him use his athleticism to make plays. You got to put the ball in a playmaker's hands and let them go to work. Don't overthink it with these guys. It's the same way the Bengals work with Jamar Chase. Jamar is not the tallest receiver, but his footwork rivals that of Chad Johnson, who is one of the greatest route runners in NFL history. Very undervalued, I think. So you'll see guys like that where it's just we got to get him the ball. Get him the ball, let him go to work. He is going to be currently the top recruit in the 2027 class coming in. There's still time. We can still get guys to sign that are even bigger and even more potential, but he is currently the top signing that UC has for the class of 2027. Some receiving stats for you, though, in 2025. He had 26 receptions, 402 yards with 4 touchdowns. He also had 7 carries for 132 yards. So obviously, even as a junior, they're trying to get him the ball in different ways, but whether it's kicking, rushing, or passing. Love that he's a multi-tool weapon coming into Cincinnati. It can only benefit what has kind of been an inconsistent offense over the years, and we really need to try to get, obviously more stable. And with guys that we have currently, the recruits are bringing in, hopefully Satterfield is able to rebuild this offense a little bit in order to move forward because his time is coming up. There's no doubt about it. It's not much to where we can really defend anymore. You've got to get results. You're getting talent in the building. You're getting good players, offense and defense, but they're just not getting the job done, especially down the stretch in November, which we have discussed. And that kind of feeds with his November record into our fan question today. This one is brought to you by Nippert Ninja. Love the name. The question he wanted to present today for us was, in your opinion, why has UC never overcome a halftime deficit under Coach Scott Satterfield? So obviously we have discussed many times on the show, not only is he bad in November, he doesn't really win after halftime. And I think the basic reason for this is just simply he's not a good coach. I don't think Coach Satterfield is that good. He's in college, so you got to say, hold on, Blake. The man's coaching in college for a reason. You're right. Coaches don't get to these jobs for nothing, not unless, you're Zach Taylor, who never did anything and somehow ended up as a coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. But he does not make adjustments at halftime. And being this is a Cincy show, obviously we know Marvin Lewis never was good at halftime adjustments, so we're used to this pain. In 4 years at Louisville, before he came to Cincinnati, Scott Satterfield was 1-10 when trailing at halftime. The only win was against NC State on November 16th of 2019. And since he has come to UC, he's 0-18. So this just seems like a coach who puts his game plan together, and no matter what happens, he's going to follow that game plan. Now, this is a bit of a loaded stat because obviously his first year in Cincinnati, they just did horrible. They had to rebuild the program completely. A lot of guys went to the draft. A lot of guys left when Fickle left. It's a bit of a loaded stat because of, that first season and a half. However, if you're not making adjustments to win football games at halftime, you're just not going to be around long. You've got to find ways to win games, especially tight games in a very competitive and tough Big 12 conference. Our only hope is that he can get out of his own way this year. We have new offensive coordinators, new defensive coordinators. We still have the same head coach. But hopefully, with the new staff, he's able to look at guys and be like, all right, we have to change something. We're not winning right now. We're not moving the ball. What are we seeing? What changes can we make? It's okay to trust your game plan, but the best coaches make adjustments during the game. I'm not saying you try completely new things you've never practiced. That's not the time. But you have to have contingency plans. You have to be able to figure out what's working and what's not and slide towards that and fix what isn't working. And Satterfield has not done that at UC. So, Ninja, my biggest thing is that I just don't think Satterfield is a good enough coach to get come from behind wins. He can't make adjustments, and he hasn't historically. He was at Appalachian State. Obviously, they had a much better record there, but in terms of big school football, he has never been successful coming back from halftime. Whether or not that's because they're already getting blown out by multiple scores, and that's even harder to come back from. Yes, there is debates there, obviously, but he's just not getting it done. He's getting recruits in the building somehow, and I don't know if this is the position coaches doing the work for him, or he just is one of the most charming guys you've ever met to these recruits. But they're getting guys in the building. So he's doing something right in that realm. Hopefully it's just his position coaches that he has a great eye for and is able to develop them to be great recruiters. But we have a do-or-die season for him, and I think we'll be having a lot more discussions come the end of the season about who our next football coach will be. But until then, let's just stay positive as best we can. Fall camp's going to be starting very soon. Summer workouts are in full swing with these guys. It's going to be a great year to be a UC fan. There's no doubt about it. So look forward to y'all coming back tomorrow to join us. Going to talk more. We have more recruits that have committed that we will be going over. And in the meantime, if you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button. Put your thoughts, opinions, questions in the comments, and we'll hopefully feature you on the show. Till next time, appreciate y'all joining.